But it's been good.
I'd like to call
I've liked it.
our meeting to order, please, at 6:02
Yeah.
PM. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to request a moment of silence. Thank you.
Do a roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Bender?
Here.
Mrs. Hoover?
Here.
Dr. Krug? Mrs. Krug? Mrs. Lee? Mr. Rocco?
Here.
Mr. Basil?
Here.
Mr. Westrick?
Here,
Ms. Sinchok?
At this time, I think we should, given the absence of the president and the vice president, open nominations for a temporary president for this meeting only.
I nominate Tom Rocco.
Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Jen.
All right, Karen, do you want to do roll call for Tom Rocco?
Mr. Bender?
Here.
Mr. Bender,
No, this is a roll call vote on nomination for him for president.
Yes.
Just for tonight.
Okay, yeah.
Mrs. Hoover?
No.
Mr. Rocco?
No.
Mr. Basil?
For Tom, I'll say no.
Mr. Westrick?
Yes,
I mean, it's just.
Ms. Sinchok?
Yes.
Okay,
Was that 3-3?
yes.
Motion fails.
Cause I wouldn't have five.
Well, you only need a majority of the,
Oh, I thought you needed five.
attending members, I think.
Roll call vote for Jen Zinchuk for temporary president.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Hold on 1 minute. Mr. Rocco?
Yep.
Mr. Basil?
Yeah.
Mr. Westrick?
yes.
Ms. Sinchok?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You already got 4.
Mr. Bender?
No.
Thanks, Tom.
Motion carries.
I'm voting no for you.
Do we have any guests and patrons? Yeah, we do. Thank you. Diane Rafton?
My name is Diane Waxmonski, 622 Municipal Road, Northern Cambria, Susquehanna Township. And before I make my quick statement, I apologize because it's really to be directed at the president who is not here. I'm here because I attended the hearing on March the 4th of 2025 to try to get some information about the high school, the fate of the high school, the fate of the track, the combinations of the assessments that were done. And to my disappointment, which is on video, I learned nothing new at that hearing. And so as a result, I filed a right to know action to find out what the assessments with the combinations, to try to get some idea of where we're headed. Because I was also part of the committee the summer of 2023 when we were working to make working with the idea of the potential repurposing of the high school for the community. The library, the gym for the kids, the track for the kids so they can use the gym underneath, and various things. And I was part of that, which was immediately dissolved at the beginning of 2024. So I felt like I had a stake in that whole process. So I wanted to know where we were headed, because I didn't want to be here on July 15th when everyone is on vacation and there be a motion for the fate of the high school property. And I would have no idea what was transpiring, because in the last few months, and I don't wanna go on and on, we have 3 new board members in less than 3 minutes. And folks on the board were not aware of who was going to be presented to the board, who was going to be presented for appointment that night. So it is not beyond the realm of possibility that on July 15th, I think that's the date, when a lot of people are on vacation, and that's a really hard meeting to have a quorum for, that we would have the fate of the high school decided. The first part of my right to know got a 30-day extension because they needed to redactment of potential documents. And so, of course, that went through. In my rejection, my denial that just came, said that the district does not have any documents or things related to your request, as, you know, here on the paper. So, it seemed kind of contradictory. There were 2 things cited in the letter, and anyone who has ever had school law knows that if you want to prove something, all you have to do is go sit down and you will find someone who agrees with you in school, in law. I mean, in litigation, there have always been pros and cons. So I'm gonna look and see what the 2 citations are to see just what road they go down. But I'm very disappointed in the fact that there is no transparency. And that is my problem.
Did you send the letter
Thank
out?
I did say.
Okay, I just didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, I got 2 from him.
Okay.
And I would ask how much this costs, but I won't, because you won't answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Reverend Marty?
Hi, I know it's not on the agenda, and it's probably my fault. I have a hard time getting to your Cal meetings. I'm Reverend Marty Cartmel. I pastor and live in town. And I want to invite all of the board members and the superintendent and anyone who is interested to a baccalaureate service for the high school seniors. It's held May the 18th at 5 o'clock in the auditorium in the high school. It's always a nice time. We have the seniors participate in it, and it is just a wonderful opportunity to just really bless them. And the local clergy are involved in doing that, in helping them do that.
I'm sorry, I missed the time. What time is that?
5 o'clock,
Thank you.
5
May
p.m.?
the 18th, Sunday, May the 18th, 5 o'clock. We'd love to see you.
Thank you, Reverend Marty.
Thank you.
Okay, administrative reports. Mr. Johnson is not here today, so we'll move on to the business manager report, Mr. Cronish.
I'm just limiting my report today to, in front of you have 2 separate sheets of the proposed budget for the upcoming school year. The one highlighted in green would be our budgeted revenues, and the one with the yellow column is our budgeted expenditures. In short, my proposed numbers that are gathered are based on, you really never know until the actual budget that the governor has promoted or put forth will be passed. So I typically use the numbers that are in their proposed budget. Those numbers could go up, could go down. We've typically found that in at least the last couple or 3 years, they've been very close to what his proposed budget was. Again, that's not a guarantee, but the numbers that are in here for anything coming under the revenue side, and if you look down to the bottom third of the page, those items that are in with the 700 accounts or the 7,000s, that is where the basic subsidy and things like that come from. So I've also given you a breakdown of our actual costs from 2020, that would be the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2020, through actual totals for the year ending June of '24. The first column to the right of the green is what's happened year-to-date as of the 7th of April. So that's just an indicator as to where we are this year. So I'm pretty confident that those numbers are fall in line. We've got a good history to follow, and I'm comfortable that these numbers make sense. A couple of things that I did want to make note of for the board is that the real estate taxes, the top line, I have not put in a increase for the millage. That's not because I don't want one or wouldn't suggest one, that's up to the board. I do caution the board that there are some things that I know need done around here as far as capital improvements, and this budget does not put a lot of money aside for any kind of major projects. So those are the kind of things that the board has to decide and discuss and see what they want to do as to whether or not they would increase millage by possibly $500,000 or something to start a process where we are putting some money aside to take care of some of the major items that need taken care of. So, again, that is just as status quo with the real estate taxes. You go down to the rental or the charter school allocation, which is account code 107140. We got that money this year. It's still up in the air as to whether we will be getting anything this year. The governor has proposed a possible limit of tuition to charter schools at a maximum of $8,000 per student, which would be great, because as we get down to the expenditure side, you're going to see what we're spending on charter schools, and it's shameful. It's just too much money. It's not shameful that the students choose to go. It's just that if someone would have asked me 5 years ago that we would be spending over almost $1.2 million on charter school, I'd have said that they were crazy. So anyway, that's pretty much it on the page 1. Page 2, just want to have you check out down at the bottom the account code 108810. For those board members that were here last year, I did allocate some money from that account last year. We did not have to use it, so we still have that money available. There's actually probably closer to $500,000 in that medical access account that we could tap into. That is listed this year at $350,000. Keep in mind, that's not an unlimited amount. We don't have that available to us every year. We have it this year and possibly some next year if we need to, but again, that's not something that we should be relying on to help us keep things moving forward. In total then, we are operating, or our anticipated budget for revenues is going to be $21,635,942. Let's switch over to the expenditure side. One of the big things on this expenditures is the payroll. We have, if you look at our budgeted total 100 account, that doesn't just include, one of the things you want to keep in mind that all of our payrolls are dispersed over some of the 100 accounts. So teachers and administrators and others could be in the 100 account, but if you look at the 190 account, instructional assistant, that is the aides. So there's different categories there, but you add all the one accounts up, and that's basically your your costs for payroll. Now, the insurance opt-out 116 is not. That's just an amount of money that we pay if those people that choose not to have their insurance coverage. So anyway, the 6.9 million is a significant reduction from what we would have had this year, but then it got bumped because of the teacher's contract, and everyone's contract shows increases. So the 6.9 is the actual projected amount that we will be paying to the teachers that, and other staff members that are here. Going down to the account 210, group insurance. You can see there's a significant increase there. Not quite sure where we will be. I've had meetings with our healthcare consortium at Admiral Perry. As you may or may not know, a healthcare consortium basically pays our own bills. So the money we collect from all of the school districts goes into a pot, and that pot is used to spend on the claims that anyone has at any hospital, doctor, or whatever. We use Blue Cross to oversee that plan for us, but it's really our money in, our money out. They are anticipating an 8% increase, so I budgeted for that. Let's hope, you know, those numbers can go down when we get closer to the end of the year, which would be the end of June. Once we look at our final fiscal year numbers, that could change. It could also go up, but we're using, the business managers that I've discussed with are using that 8% increase. Going down the line, the security safety service, we've got to look at what we're doing here with our coverage. We had, this year so far, we've spent $122,000 on police officers and security. I budgeted $75,000. That is for one officer. The board can absolutely do what they want, but the being in one location, that's a consideration. Again, let me preface this whole entire budget is that it's my proposed budget to the board. The board will take a look at this for the next couple of weeks. I would ask that they would discuss it then on the next COW meeting, which is in May the 6th, I believe. They can then discuss it further with the hope that they would then come to some agreement to have that budget be finalized and put out on the 20th of May. That gives us a full month before we are required to have our budget in by June the 3rd. So we'll go to page 2. One of the things that kind of hard for me to try to budget for this upcoming year is our utility costs. We've talked to engineers and architects. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen when we move down here as far as the actual cost. We were told that it should be significantly lower, but we will still have some costs available at the high school. So as you look at those 400 accounts, some of those are best guess estimates because of the change of our operation. Going down, everything's pretty much the same. As you can see, these expenditures go back to 21. One of the things you have to keep in mind is that throughout the time there were some changes within because of our own operations, and most times because PDE says we should be using different account codes within the same kind of object code. So there are going to be some that are different from year to year, but in total, they all stay pretty close. Liability insurance, 523, the general property and liability. I budgeted $130,000. We paid $116 last year. So far this year, our total was $126. There will be an increase because of this, the addition of the building project here. It's not totally finished, but I have no clue what that will be. So that number is probably not quite high enough, but we do have some other areas that we can take money from if we need to. tuition to PA charter schools, there you can see it. Go back to 21, now, I know that was a COVID year, but, 562 account code, $309,000. 22, $771,000. 23, $1,096,000. 24, $1,099,000. This year, we're already at $1.1 million. So I'll be happy if we get away with $1.2 million next year. So we have to work, I think one of our most important steps is we can sit here at meetings and try to say nickels and dimes on this or that. Our focus as a board and as an administration should be to see what we can do to reduce those charter school costs. If we could take and save, 20% of those costs, that pays for a significant piece of equipment or addition to a football field or whatever. That's where our answer is, if there's something that we can do about that. Going to the last page, oil and coal, same thing. I showed $150,000 for oil, coal is $50,000. Again, we're gonna have to do some maintenance and heating at the high school for a period of time. I don't know how long that will be. I don't know what the difference of heat and lights will be down here. So we're doing our best guess estimate based on my conversations with engineers and architects. I've made sure we budgeted significant amount for books and curriculum. I put about $100,000 into the equipment, whether that be for the maintenance, whether it be for, some fixing up around here. It's not a lot of money, believe me, I understand that, but we're limited to what we have to spend. Dues and fees, that amount is $50,000, that makes up, there's a lot of things that are thrown in there. TSA costs, some of them, PSBA, when we joined the PSBA and do their policy manual stuff and some other costs. Now, if you look down to 830 and 910, those two amounts are our total debt service cost for the year. For 25 to 26, that totals $1,898,000, of which we will have out of our pocket costs, we have to pay that entire amount. But if you flip to, back to your revenue side, I should have mentioned that to you when we were over there, but I think I did. The 7320 account, bottom of page 1, you see that's $419,000. That is money that comes from PlanCon. Those were old bonds and loans that we had that were still fell under the PlanCon blanket, and we get that money until those two loans are gone. So our PlanCon for 25-26 income was $419,000, so our net cost is the 1.4 million. But I have to, if I'm going to show that revenue on the revenue side, I have to show the entire debt service cost on this side. So as you can see, if you add the 1,032,000 and the 866, that takes you to the 1,819,000. One other thing that we have, I've run through the most recently recomputed where we stand with our construction project. Our pay down is, I'm anticipating by the end of September, maybe October, we will have all of that money dispersed for the contracts. It looks as though for next year, in order to make sure we have enough funds to make those payments, we're gonna have to transfer $400,000 out of our general fund into the capital reserve, which we've been doing. That money has been, for the last number of years, we've been putting money from the general fund into the capital reserve fund. So that is gonna be $400,000. That leaves a roughly $63,000 of miscellaneous or you know, an amount that can be used to distribute however the board so chooses. If we're low on one account, we can go to another. And again, so adding all of that up, we come to the same amount as we did on revenues. It's $21,635,942. Again, take your time, look at this. I can answer any questions over the next couple or 3 weeks. I would hope, again, that the board has a discussion on the COW meeting coming up in May. That way we can finalize this and move forward with approving the budget and posting it so that we can meet the deadlines required or put on us by Harrisburg. That's it. Anybody have any questions?
Roland, I'm looking at the year-to-date for oil. Is that, so this is saying that between January 1st, or are you talking fiscal year-to-date?
Fiscal year. It's all, everything that I give you is always fiscal year.
Okay.
So it would have included July 1st through now. So it's almost a full year. Our heating season is practically over, so that amount is pretty much the full heating season. We will, I'm sure, get a few smaller bills and maybe even some that have not been sent to us, but that is the total.
So between, so 23, it was around 60,000, but it looks like we were using a lot more coal.
Well, now you gotta watch one thing too. If we're looking back at some previous years, there was one, area there that I highlighted. If you go to page,
I guess what I wrote down here to ask you was, what did you actually budget for this year for oil?
I don't have those budget numbers in front of me.
I'm just wondering.
I mean, I'm always of, and that's a good question. However, I think what we need to understand and what is important when you look at a budget, budgeting, a lot of people will throw out a budget number and then they'll say, well, this year's budget is gonna be based on the last 3 years' budgets. The last 2 or 3 years' budgets don't mean anything. It's actual costs that are important, and that's why I stress to show only what we actually spent. Again, this isn't a good year to look at it because the coal furnace has been down all year. So the amount of money we spent on oil wasn't an element of just wanting to burn more oil. We couldn't burn coal. So
I'm concerned that we were not the board, because the board is the only entity in the district that can spend the money. I'm concerned that the board was not moving fast enough to make that furnace fix happen. And that cost us money in oil. That's my concern.
yeah, well, again, that's
Right, because
that's to
nobody,
be argued, but the
we
point
can't,
is.
Gary can't buy it, I'm sorry, Jeff can't buy it, nobody can do anything until the board votes. So, we've got $214,000 worth of oil, and that is way above any other years that we've done previous. And I know it's because the coal furnace was broken,
There's no doubt, you're right.
so,
Has to be way over what we budgeted.
I mean, we were negligent in not acting on that and getting that coal furnace fixed.
Should have been done in the summer. That ain't even that piece of it. This coal furnace down here is still not operating. So it's been down all year due to the project. No qualms of anyone sitting in this room.
So that one is understandable and it's down because of the project. But the other one,
At the high school.
at the high school, was at least $5,000 a month in oil, or maybe $5,000 every few weeks. And that wasn't still enough to keep the building warm.
Toby, if we have a budget set up and dollars need reprogrammed, but that's under a contract, cause it's like a contractor rate, does that not have to come like normal expenditures before the board? Just like an electric bill doesn't have to? Well, we sign off on the expenditures, technically, the entire list.
You vote on them every regular meeting, but, if there's a contract for a regular price, it doesn't need voting on every time, you've already voted on that.
Even if it's way over budget technically, like
Even if it's
money
over
needs,
budget, yeah.
even if it's over budget,
Yep. But you guys
Good
do
point,
approve the bills,
yeah. Every month, I guess we say, yeah.
that's right.
I mean, I brought it up in
Yeah.
emails to the board, and I was not answered back in January.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't do this in your own home, and
No.
the taxpayers are
It's a
paying for
big
this.
chunk of money, no
Yeah.
doubt. Hey, Roland, 3 quick questions. One, do you have the third principal budgeted in this?
They have the normal salary increase.
Okay, and then, I just want the public
I
to know.
included the additional funds that the board put out recently.
Okay, and then secondly, are we at 60 mills right now, I think?
60, yes,
And we had planned around 63.87, I think, right?
total.
Yeah,
I don't know off the top of
I
my
think
head, I
it's
think
somewhere.
that's where it was around. Absolutely, I mean,
Yeah.
we anticipated an increase each year.
so just so everyone knows, we're,
Last year, I will be honest with you, last year, my suggestion was not to, only because
yeah, I recall that.
we know, last year was a big change in our allocations. I didn't feel it was fair, not knowing for sure if we were gonna have significant increases of our funding from the state, which we did. Should we at that point have raised taxes, not knowing for sure where it is? I think with the, it would be prudent, and I've always been for this, and I know many board members don't agree, but it's prudent that you look at putting money aside for capital improvements. Everything goes up.
Yeah,
Costs of everything go up each year. We can only take, the lion's share of our budget, when it's all said and done, is salaries and wages, and charter schools and transportation. You take those out, and it's basically, nothing left.
yeah,
I mean, it's significant, but what I'm saying, you take those millions of dollars out of our budget, that's what you have left to work with.
I just wanna make sure everyone's aware that, those on the board too are voting, that we had planned a millage increase to get to 63.87 based on the building project, so we didn't do an increase last year, which is fine, but over time, that 3.87 mills, Roland, it's still around 50-something thousand a mill, ballpark.
Yeah, yes.
So we're
I
gonna
mean,
be,
our appraised values have gone up a little bit, but
Yeah.
generally, it's 50.
so just so everyone knows, we're gonna be, after 3 years of no increase, if we go this year, and then, that's around 200,000 a year in revenue that the school, so over 5 years, that'd be like $1 million we'd be behind, and where we planned. So, it'll add up after a while if we don't do increases, unless charter school costs, that'd be great if they took that down to 8,000, that would fix everything.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay, or, increase revenue some more. Only last question, does this have any of that rural money factored in there for the underfunding of,
What?
excuse me?
Anyway,
That rural money where we are underfunded,
oh yeah, that's
Versus-
all part of the BEF, as well
that is
as-
part of BEF in here already then.
Huh?
You have that factored in here?
Oh yeah, everything, if you look on your revenue side and you look at, our basic ed funding as well, the 2 big ones are the basic ed subsidy, 7111, and then special ed, as well as, we have a, where's the other one at?
If you have it in there, it's fine, I was just curious.
Yeah, yes, it's
It was,
there.
cause I was around $500,000 or something last year, wasn't it?
Ready to Learn, if you look at the second page, Ready to Learn grants, and, that's the one that we had significant increases in over the previous years. Used to be $242,000 a year, now it's 573, plus another 331,000. So,
Okay.
we've got significant bumps in that, but again, everything does go up, so. But yes, those are in,
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to point out that millage increases that are currently on pause were suggested back in approximately 2019, when the building project first came about. Those millage increases were planned as a way that the previous board had decided that they were going to afford this new project, whatever it turned out to be. And when COVID hit, they rightfully, and I think it was great that they did it, they paused those millage increases because it was such an uncertain economy. But from the conception of this school being changed and this major building plan, which came up in 2017, the previous boards had determined that they would do millage increases to pay for the building. So that's not a new idea that came about in 2021 or 2022. That was always to be how we were gonna pay for this. So right now, whatever revenues we're missing by not going through with those increases, that, I mean, it's a change in plan, and some of those folks that were on that board agreed with those millage increases back when they were in favor of the building. So I just wanna remind everybody of that too, while we are on the topic.
Thank you.
Very good.
We good to move on? Okay. Minute approval. Be it resolved, the minutes of the March 4th, 2025 Committee of the Whole and the March 18th, 2025 regular meetings are approved as presented.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Treasurer and financial reports. Be it resolved, the treasurer and financial reports for March 2025 be approved as presented or amended, received, and filed.
Motion. Second by Bender.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, and the enrollment report is there for you to look over. Action agenda, buildings and grounds. Item A, Soder Technologies LLC. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the FlySense product vape detector support and maintenance renewal at a cost to the district of $2,400, attachment number 1.
Motion.
Second.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Mike Mazel.
All in, any questions? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Maintenance rentals. Be it resolved, the Board of Education authorizes the maintenance supervisor to rent C-can storage containers for the new campus and a dumpster for the high school to prepare for the move of the new campus.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Westrick, second. Question or comments?
Do we have to put any type of dollar limit on this or anything, or?
It's up to you guys, I mean, we don't, I don't know if we have.
If
any
it's
sort of
over
idea.
2,500, can he still, I have no concept what this is gonna cost, I just,
I don't either, I mean, that's,
can he do it for over 2,500 once we do it? Yeah.
if you guys are giving them permission, yeah.
It's like a blank check.
Do you have any idea, Jeff, what any quotes or anything on anything?
Well, what we paid for the 175?
I think
I think it's
175
175
or 75 a month.
a month per rental.
I mean,
I don't know how
ballpark
many
you think you need
We're looking at two, one close to,
through, what period of time?
probably for the next month.
Oh, just 1 month.
Yeah, while we get prepped and purged some of the stuff up at the high school, put the open container up at the high school and the closed one here.
Oh, it's a small cost then, yeah. Yeah,
I don't want any more than possible, cause there's too many out there right now,
yeah, no, that helps, thank you.
so I want Dave to try to clean some of this stuff up.
Should we try to put a not to exceed on there just to be judicious, or, I mean, I don't think we'll get crazy with this.
Yeah, I don't think it's,
It
yeah.
seems so small that you're not
Yeah,
gonna get
so
this
it'll
small
be
one,
okay.
yeah.
And we really don't have room to put more than 2 or 3 anyway, so.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Business and Finance, item A, Appalachia IU8 Cooperative Paper Bidding Program. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the IU8 Cooperative Paper Bidding Program participation for the 2025-2026 school year. White copy paper will be purchased through the IU8 from Contract Paper Group, Inc. at $29.60 per carton. See Appendix I.
I'll make that motion.
Let me interject, we just got a letter the other day, naturally, because of the
Well,
tariffs.
wait, do first, second, then you can, is that okay?
The motion.
I just want you to know there's a change in price.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Hold motion and talk about, I guess.
So, Mr. Westrick, made a motion, Mr. Bender, second. Okay, questions, comments?
So because of the tariffs, we got a letter from CPG, who's the company that the consortium, the Allegheny IU, that was using. It was the 30, or the lower amount, it's now $32.11, which is a $2.51 a case increase. Based on our normal, purchase, we usually get around 8 lifts of that. That's gonna be about an $800 increase. There's nothing in here that says that they would reduce it down if there weren't any tariffs. It just states that due to the tariffs, they are no longer able to supply the paper that you ordered at the original winning bid price. We didn't order any. They're talking about the total amount that DIU stated that they may be interested in buying. So, again, I don't know that there's gonna be any place cheaper anyway, if there's a tariff in place. I think one of the things that I've been complaining, I know, one of the things I've been complaining about is the copies that are being used in this district. There are a number of things that are being copied on one side, given to students, and they're thrown away that day in the trash. And any teacher should be copying two-sided or those kind of things. That way we would be saving significant sheets of paper. That's just my take on all of that. But as far as the motion goes, as it stands, that doesn't work. If the board wants to go with the $32.11, I still think that's probably gonna be as cheap of a price that we're gonna find. That's up to them.
Do we reread it, the new amount, the new total?
Yeah, you must.
Yeah, okay. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the IU8 Cooperative Paper Bidding Program participation for the 2025-2026 school year. White copy paper will be purchased through the IU8 from Contract Paper Group, Inc. at $32.11 per carton.
I'll still make the motion.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, item B, train service agreement. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the train scheduled service agreement beginning May 1st, 2025 with the district, Appendix 2.
Motion.
Mr. Rocco's motion.
Second.
Mr. Basil's second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Community Relations. Item A, use of facilities. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the use of facilities and waiver of fees request from Hope Fire Company to use the elementary middle school cafeteria kitchen to cook for their annual turkey dinner on July 6, 2025.
Second.
Ms. Hoover's made a motion, Mr. Bender's a second. Question or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Curriculum and instruction, item A, in-person evaluation. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the parental request for an in-person gifted evaluation for a student with Ms. Jamie Irvine, psychologist. The cost to the district is $1,000. Ms. Hoover's motion,
Second.
Mr. Rocco's second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, ESL Consortium. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves entering the IU8 ESL Consortium for the 2025-2026 school year, providing assistance with PDE, state and federal policies and laws in regards to English as a second language and Every Student Succeeds Act. The total cost will be $5,000, Appendix 3.
Motion.
Mr. Basil's motion,
Second.
Mr. Rocco's second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, Extended Family Programs. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the service agreement for the 2025-2026 school year with Extended Family Programs. This program will be used on an as-needed basis. Appendix 4.
Motion.
Mr. Rocco's motion.
Second.
I'll just give Mr. Westrick this one, the second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D, Course Catalog. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the 2025-2026 high school course catalog as presented.
Motion.
Thank you.
Trying to get through this, yes, second.
Hey, this is how the VOTEC goes, just yell,
Yeah.
Just go.
just go,
This
just
is
go.
normally how you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Legislation and policy development, nothing at this time. Personnel, item A, summer maintenance workers. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves advertising for 3 summer maintenance workers beginning June 2nd, 2025 through the end of August 2025 at an hourly rate of $9 per hour.
I make a motion.
Mr. Bender's motion,
Second.
Mr. Rocco's a second. Questions or comments?
Do we usually get
We
3?
usually get 3,
Okay.
yeah.
3, and did we, I thought we paid them $10 last year, was it 9? Maybe I just wanted
I
to pay
don't
them
recall the
10.
pay, to be honest with you, I just know we usually get 3.
Okay, alright. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Staff development, nothing at this time. Student activities, item A, Europe trip 2027. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the 2027 Europe trip to London, Paris, and Barcelona submitted by Mrs. Miko.
Motion.
Mr. Rocco's motion,
Second.
Mr. Basil's second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B, fundraiser calendar. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the following addition to the fundraiser calendar. National Honors, English Honor Society, Alyssa Norman, Pie in the Face vote.
The motion.
Okay. Mr. Basil, okay, Mr. Rocco.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Transportation, item A, bus driver list. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the following substitute bus driver for the 2024-2025 school year. Clearances were received and reviewed. Raina Cruz,
Motion. I second.
Mr. Rocco's a second, or first, Mr. Bender's a second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Athletics, nothing at this time. Payment of the bills. Be it resolved, the payment of the bills for the month of April 2025 be approved as presented or amended, received, and filed.
Motion.
Mr. Rocco's motion,
Second.
Mr. Basil's second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Any need for an executive?
Yes, brief, but yes.
Alright. Be it resolved, we will not be voting on anything when we come back, so, just so that everyone knows that. Be it resolved, the Board of Education will enter into an executive session at 6:49 to discuss litigation contracts, students, and personnel.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Wester, okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Who seconded that, please?
I did.